right there, I'll then circle this leg over here and turn him in this direction. Right? Okay, in this situation, this time I'm going to pin this leg down in this direction, and he feels himself in trouble to be turned this way. So rather than staying flat, he's going to circle back to his left. And what he's trying to do is circle around and capture his opponent's feet. And so when that happens, look what happens as I pin this leg down, and I'm trying to pull this leg over. But when he starts to circle to his left, it pins this foot down. So again, in this situation, I'm going to switch directions and take the straight leg over the bent leg. So it looks like this. I'm here, he's got his feet up my armpit, I trap the one. When he starts to circle back, I now switch directions. Another situation that can occur out of a leg lace is when I'm trying to get a leg lace, but your opponent stays on his side. And there's two things that happen here. Sometimes they'll have their feet crossed in this position right here, and sometimes they'll have it like this. Very important in this situation when your opponent's down for you to attack the bottom leg. If he's laying flat and he has one leg up, always attack the straight leg. But if his legs are together, you want to always attack the bottom leg, not the top one. He's got too much motion with it. For example, from this position right here, his knees are together. For me to trap him or lace him, all I have to do is attack the bottom leg here and cross it this way. Right? So from this position, again, very important. Remember the key elements to this. I actually want to trap my opponent's thighs. And I want to use my shoulder to keep him from coming back in a base. So as I drop down here, I'm going to capture his thighs. But at the same time, I'm going to split his legs a little bit, even if they're fairly close together. Right? So as I drop down right here, I'm going to use my knees and keep pressure forward on him so he can't come up to a base. From here, I'm going to split these legs. I'm going to go as deep as I can with this arm around this ankle here. From here, again, there's my half right there. As soon as I can touch this, I can roll. Another situation that can occur when you're trying to get a leg lace, especially when your opponent's legs are scissored in this direction. Remember, it's very important to attack the bottom leg. But rather than a regular leg lace, I'll end up with a front leg lace in this situation. Because I'm going to attack the bottom leg and half this leg. And so rather than being on his belly, he'll be on his butt. And it's very important for me not to try to roll all the way through. If I try to roll all the way through, he'll have an opportunity to tripod up and sometimes catch me on my back. So I don't want that situation to occur, so I won't even get into it. So I'm in this position right here, and I'm fighting, and I'm trying to capture his thighs. I'm, again, going to split the legs a little bit. From this position, I'm going to go elbow deep and half the far side. As soon as this hand can touch the opposite leg, I'm now going to step to the outside and start the roll. In this position. Remember, look what happens if I try to roll all the way through. He's got an opportunity to tripod up and catch it here. And I've missed an opportunity to score. So, watch what happens this time. When I cross this over, I get my half on this leg, and I get a front lace. Spread the legs a little, elbow deep. As soon as I can touch, I step outside, but rather than roll now, I'm going to scoop and pick him up. Kick. Keep him on his back. So anytime you have a front lace, you're going to attack the bottom leg, half it, but don't roll all the way through. Pick that leg up. Pick up the bottom leg. Another situation that can occur in a leg lace, especially if your opponent knows that I like to do a leg lace. Right out of parterre, he gets back on his butt in this position here and stays here. This makes it very difficult, especially if he gets his knees turned to the outside a little bit, for me to break him off of his base. But one of the things that I can do that'll make this leg lace and give me a possibility to score big points is for me to spread his legs. And watch what happens when I do that. It'll give me an opportunity to drop my shoulder down and at the same time capture both thighs. The second I do that, I want to drive, get up on my feet. So in regular parterre start, I'm going to race him and get my knees between his legs. Ready to go. I'm going to put my knees right by his ankles. And then from this position, all I'm going to do is drop down to the thighs and spread my legs, which spreads his legs. From there, I'm going to drop down. Now I've captured both thighs, my shoulders in the butt, and now I'm going to tripod up and capture him here. From this position, again, I'm going to half the fart. Ooh, see what he's doing by countering this? Just fall on it and trap it. Here. From this position right here, I can continue this way, lace my opponent. The next technique we're going to work on is after you've got a leg lace, you have it locked up tight, but this guy has real powerful hips, and it makes it very difficult for you to turn him with the leverage you have. But I have a half Nelson, I have this locked, and I'm in this position. I have everything that I want, but his hips are real powerful, and he keeps his left hip down. It makes it very difficult for me to turn him here. And you're getting stuck and you're trying to turn. In this situation, what I want to do is take his feet and put them on my chest, actually almost to this armpit. From there, I'm going to run my feet towards his head, and watch what it does to his right hip. I'm going to lift this here. As he's fighting me down, watch what happens when I run my feet to his head. It popped his right hip down, back arch, and turn. Okay, let's try it this way. Trying to turn him. I can't get him, so I pick these feet up, pull them onto my chest, run these feet towards his head, watch his hip, try to keep it down good. And you turn him. We call that the curly shuffle. Whoop, whoop, whoop. One of the counters that a guy will do, even if you have this locked, is spread his legs a little bit. If he can turn his knees to the outside in this position, it makes it very difficult for me to turn him. So I don't ever really want his knees to separate, even a quarter of an inch or a half an inch. I want to make sure that I keep those tight. So after I have a good leg lace, I'm in position here, I've halved this leg, and I've been underneath here so that I have this tight, but it's very difficult for me to turn him because he has strong hips. From this position here, again, I'm going to put his feet up on my chest and start to run, but he's moving with me. From this position right here, all I want to do is raise this hand up and capture both his knees. So I do a quick hip pop, and come back down. Now, from this position, I don't want to continue to roll, because if I continue to roll and he gets his feet on the mat, he's able to tripod up again here and capture me here. So from this position right here, once I've captured the knees, I want to come back up on top here. Now, I'll be able to turn him in any direction and take my time doing it. I have everything trapped. I'm going to elevate it and turn him. Another situation that can occur is when your opponent circles back and grabs your foot. You don't want this to happen, but if he beats you in that position and he gets a hold of your foot, don't panic and don't let go of the leg lace. So if I'm in this position and I'm scooping this up and he grabs my foot, I want to continue to do my lace, and I'm going to do a scoop lace, so I have a reverse half. From this position here, I'm going to turn my foot up and pull his legs. Rather than try to lift it straight up, I'm going to pull it here and kick him over. From this position right here, when your opponent has your foot, I'm still going to turn my toe that he has to the ceiling. When I do that, I'm going to pull these feet this way and extend him a little bit and load him onto my lap here. Another situation that occurs when you're in a leg lace position and you have a good scoop lace, but your opponent grabs your foot and he's hipping down here. And this time, rather than try to extend him and load him up because I'm on my knee, I'm going to use this foot and actually try to kick him in the shoulder. I don't actually want to kick him in the nose. But from here, I'm going to elevate the leg a little and kick him in this direction. From there, I can come over and back. Remember your key components when doing a leg lace. It's very important for your shoulder to be low in your opponent's butt, for you to capture both thighs. That's very important. One thigh and a shin's not nearly as effective as capturing both thighs. So shoulder low, capture both thighs. The very second you can use one hand and half the other leg, you can start to do the Zeke roll in that position. If you want to do a scoop leg lace, as soon as you get and touch your opponent's legs and you get a half Nelson, then you're going to go to a reverse half and scoop the leg up. Key components, shoulder low, capture both thighs, keep pressure forward. The next technique we're going to work in parterre offense is a cross knee turn. And the way you get into this cross knee turn, especially if a guy knows you have a good leg lace, he's going to stay in a base. And when your opponent's in a base and he's staying back here, and it makes it difficult for me if I can't spread his legs to get a leg lace. So I'm going to change off here and do a cross knee turn. This hand right here is going to reach under my opponent to right here. From here, I'm now going to turn and use this shoulder to knock my opponent to his hip. Here. Right here. From this position here, once I have my opponent to his hip, it's very important for me to use this elbow and post his thigh down. If I don't, and I give this arm too deep, it's very easy for my opponent to scoot underneath me. Now, we've got my head posted, and he's able to kick over the top. So it's very important, when I do the cross knee, to use this elbow to post my opponent's thigh. Right here. From this position right here, with him reaching around my waist, I'm going to hop across. I'm going to tripod up, cross over my opponent's leg, and use my right hip to capture my opponent's ankle right here. From this position, I'm going to keep my right knee up so that I keep this leg trapped. From here, now I'm just going to tip him up and score points. Here. Keeping my right thigh and his foot hooked. This time, as I do a cross knee turn, my opponent's going to reach around my waist and try to hang on to it. In this situation, I'm going to capture his wrist and roll and stack him up and try to get the fall. So in a cross knee turn, from this position right here, I drive my opponent to his hip. If he reaches around my waist, I'm going to hop to the other side, take this hand and grab it. Now I'm going to post my head here, and I'm going to take a wide arc, stack my opponent right here. Another opportunity to get into a cross knee turn is off the leg lace. If I start to do a leg lace and my opponent turns his hip down, I'm going to switch right into a cross knee turn. I'm in leg lace position, he hips down, in that position. I scoop, now I'm in a cross knee turn. This position right here, remember elbows on the thigh, elevate, half, stack. Another way to get into a cross knee turn is right off your takedown, especially if you like to use a high crotch. From this position right here, if I have my hand wrapped and I'm going to switch directions and get him off the mat, especially if he's trying to sprawl on me some, I'm going to lift him up here. From this position right here, I'm going to reach across over this, then over his leg, go down to my side in this position, and I'm in a cross knee turn. Very important right here for me to get my right elbow up onto my opponent's thigh so he can't roll me over the back. And from here, switch and tip.